Welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, Michael Jennings. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, good, mate. You, yeah?
Yeah, really good.
Good, mate, good.
As good as we can be.
Yeah, I know, it's mad times, isn't it? Everything's changed to what we're used to. Well, saying that, we're getting used to this way of living now, aren't we? So,
yeah,
hopefully we can go back to a bit of normality.
Oh, mate, I think it's going to be a shock to the system to begin with, but we'll get there.
Yeah, hopefully, mate, we'll be right, won't we?
Well, I'll chuck out the cheesy intro and then we'll crack on.
So, mate.
No worries.
Are you ready?
So, as I say, welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. With me now, Mike Jennings. What a career you've had, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, started boxing when I was 13, 14 and retired from actual fighting when I was 32. So overall, like combined with amateur and professional, I had over 100 fights. So it was a good career, yeah.
Yeah. We'll go back to the start to begin with before we go into all the titles you won and some of your, what I call iconic fights as well.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the start. How did it all sort of start for you with your, just boxing in general, really? How did it all come about?
Well, my older brother, he went down to the local gym before me, and then my younger brother went, and then I went the week after. And it was just something like, after just being there a week, I just, something I got, I would say, addicted to, really. I loved it. I loved everything, the hard training, the fights. I won't say I loved the diet inside, but, I was pretty strict with myself. As an amateur, I had 66 fights. I think I won about 59, 60 of them.
Cool,
yeah. Won 5 national titles, boxed for England and stuff like that. And when I was 21, that's when I turned pro.
Yeah, blimey. So quite quick to turn pro, really.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I'd had enough of the amateurs boxing, just with politics and stuff like that. Because I remember one year I won a national title, got picked to box for England, some England trials. Obviously, the winner will go on and box for England. So I went and boxed in the England trials, won the trials, and still didn't get picked. So it was just a bit up and down with the amateurs at the time. I boxed in the senior ABAs. I got to the semi-finals, and I thought I got robbed, to be honest with you. I boxed David Walker, and David went on and won the finals in the first round, knocked a kid out in the first round. I had a couple of fights after that, and then I just decided I got picked actually to box in the multi-nations, which was like a qualifier for the Commonwealth Games, but I wasn't feeling it at the time. Do you know what I mean? So I was going to pack up boxing actually. And it was my mum that said, well, you've always said you want to be professional and stuff. And so that's what I did. I turned professional when I was 21.
Yeah, good old mum.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I listened to her. Because at the time I was working in a slaughterhouse. I was just labouring in a slaughterhouse, brushing shit and blood up, to be fair. So
nice.
Yeah, I picked the best decision, I think.
Yeah, I think so, mate. Looking over your career now, people go, there's not a lot of people that have got your sort of record anyway, so look at the decision you made at 21 and then went on to do what you did, 39 fights, 36 wins. How many knockouts did you get?
I think it was about 17. I think it was 17 or something like that. I think it was just under 50%. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what a career. So to go from the slaughterhouse, and like we were saying, good old mum, she stepped in and said, well, you've done all the amateurs, you've got a good amateur background, winning almost all of them, and then that would have all gone to a bit of a shame, wouldn't it? Goodness knows what you would have been doing now.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back, obviously, I don't know I have no idea what I would have been doing now, to be honest with you, because even now I'm involved with boxing, with my own gym, training the lads and stuff. Boxing's been a massive part of my life. I'm 43 now, and I started when I was 13, so it's like 30 years, you know, I've been involved with boxing. I don't know what I'd do without it, to be honest with you. It's always been there. Yeah, I loved it. I loved when I went over to Collieston Mustard when I was 21. I loved the training. The lads was, you know, a good set of lads. We had a good gym at the time. At the time, I was actually, when I first went to Colliers, we had like Robin Reed, who was super middleweight world champion, WBC. There was Del Wall, Pat Barrett, Michael Gomez, Anthony Farnell, Darren Rhodes, Thomas McDonough. There was loads of good kids there. David Barnes, he came through there. Tony Doherty, Gary Lockett. We had loads of good kids in the gym. So because we had a good stable of lads, we used to have a lot of good sparring coming in as well from all over the country. So yeah, it was good. It was a good place to be at the time. It was an hotbed really in Manchester. It was.
I think when you've got those people around you, you feed off another, don't you? And there's a positive vibe, isn't there?
Yeah, like the thing is, if you're not good enough, you know, in sparring and stuff, you're going to be getting beat up. To be fair, so you know, you need to be able to, like you said, bounce off each other and learn off each other, and that's what we did. And like even later on, we ended up like with Scott Quigg, you know, one of the new kids who was. We had Matthew Wall was there. He was Commonwealth champion. Reece Roberts, he was another good kid. We just had loads of good talent in the gym, and we all sparred with each other, no matter what weight you was. We all sparred. Tyson Fury came up to our gym for a while as well. I remember sparring Tyson years ago.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, so we used to all
What was that like? What was that like?
Mate, honestly, it was just like treading water. There's nothing you could do with the guy. He was massive. He was a giant. And I remember once Brian had us working. We was working on like speed work for Tyson. So we was trying to throw as many shots as we could, fast as we could. Obviously, it was a lot lighter. I was only a welterweight. And I remember Tyson, he just went up against the ropes, put his hands up. He goes, "Come on!" It was a beast, to be fair, giant. And he was only young then, because I'm a lot older than Tyson as well. So he was only a kid himself, but you always knew back then that he was going to be something special.
Yeah, and the thing is, you make it sound quite funny when he put his hands in the air and said, "Come on!" But he does it now. Do you know what I mean?
He always had that same sort of style in the gym as well. You know, switching, low left hand and stuff. Good feints, switched on all the time. Yeah, you could tell back then that he was going to do something special, and look at him, he has done.
For you, is he number one for you?
At the heavyweights at the minute? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I just think he's got a little bit too much. And problem is with these heavyweights, you can't write no one off. I mean, look at Dillian White when he fought Povetkin the first time. Dillian White was beating him, and he got caught with that shot, and he got battered with it. You know, that was the end of it. Second fight, Dillian White did what he did in the first fight, and then finished him because he never got caught. So even though Fury's, as far as skill set's concerned, I think he's the best heavyweight in the world, tactically, you know, technically. But the problem with the heavyweights is you just never know, because if you get caught with that one big shot, Joshua he's a big puncher. He could put anyone to sleep. So the thing what I like about Tyson Fury is how switched on he is in that ring. You know, when I'm training my lads in the gym, it's not a lot of the training that I do. It's about the little tiny things, you know, what make big improvements, and one of them is being switched on. It's like we don't let them get on with their own thing. We like even the skipping and stuff. We put different aspects of skipping in. Shadow boxing, you know, I'll give them different things to work on. On the bags, we don't just go in the bags and smash the bags to pieces. We work on what's coming back, you know, the shots that are coming back. You're just trying to keep them switched on. Even the pads, like with the pads, we use numbers and different shapes and stuff. So they have to be thinking all the time. Because if you've got a kid there who's just going through the motions and doesn't have to think, he's going to get caught. Because 99% of the professional boxers know to block a jab, know to slip a jab, block a backhand, or left up, right up. So they can block most of the shots in the boot, but they do still get caught by him, and that's because they switch off for that split second, and that's all it takes in this game.
Oh yeah, we've seen it a lot, haven't we? Recently, you can just switch off and it's game over. And there's been a lot of shocks, isn't there? And a lot of 50-50 fights recently, which has made boxing exciting, isn't it? Recently.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got some good talent in our own country as well. Not just the heavyweights, you know, for going through all the weights. So yeah, it's exciting times. You know, there's a lot of good fighters about now.
Yeah, just quickly, Ender's sent a comment in and he said, "Fair play, mate. You know, when you were talking about what you wanted to do from the age of 21, and he just said, best of luck with your gym."
Yeah, cheers for that. I can't. It's just
His name's Ender.
Ender. Yeah, nice one, Ender. Cheers, pal. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
he said that Gomez was a great, exciting fighter as well.
Yeah, me and Gomez, we were sparring partners. He was a bit lighter than me, but Gomez could punch. He was a strong kid. You know what I mean? I liked Gomez a lot. He went off rails a little bit. I do think he could have gone on and done better than what he actually did, even though he did achieve good things. You know, when he beat Alex Arthur, no one expected that. But I do think he underachieved as well because he was class. He was a class fighter.
But yeah, going back to you, mate, because this is what we're here to talk about, is, you know, English, British, world.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, they took the time a little bit with me because I was like a late developer, you know, I was in like physical strength and stuff like that. So I think I started getting into titles when I was like 25. I boxed for it was like a WBDU international. It's like intercontinental, but it's what they have now. I boxed when I won that. I think it was Jimmy Smith who I beat for that, and then I defended it against Jimmy Gould. And then I boxed for the English title against Chris Saunders, who was an ex-British champion. He could punch, Chris Saunders as well. But I stopped Chris Saunders in the 9th round. And then I defended it again against Gavin Down. I think I stopped him in the 9th as well, actually. And then what happened, David Barnes, at the time, who was my gym mate, he was British champion. He boxed Jimmy Vincent, and they had a bit of a controversial decision in that one. It was a very close fight. They were supposed to be having the rematch, and David got offered another fight for the Commonwealth against the kid from, he's from Africa, I think, originally, but he was living in Manchester, called Ali Numbambeya, and David got beat off him. So 4 weeks after I just defended me English, they asked me, did I want to fight Jimmy Vincent for the British? So obviously I said yeah, and I went on and I knocked him out in the first round for the British title.
Revenge.
Yeah, you know, that was probably my best night as well in boxing, that one, winning that British title. It was because no one expected me to do that either. They all expected it to go the distance because Jimmy, he was a tough man. He was a proper road warrior. Didn't really get stopped much. So for me to do it in the first round like I did, it was a big shock. I wish I'd have had a bet on myself really in the first round. It'd have been big odds.
That's probably when you announced yourself big time then, would you say?
Yeah, and then I defended it first time at Preston Guildhall against Bradley Price. I beat Bradley on points, unanimous. And then I boxed a kid called Young Mutley from West Brom, who he beat me on a split decision. But I thought I'd won the fight, to be honest with you. But I lost that fight before I even got in the fight because I was a excessive trainer. I trained too much, you know, and my fitness was one of my main aspects in boxing, fitness and fast hands. And when I went in after the first round of boxing Young Mutley, I came back to my corner and I was absolutely knackered. I'd sooner be unfit and go into a fight than overtrained. Do you know what I mean? And it was my own fault. It was no one's fault. It was my own fault for doing too much stuff outside the gym. When Brian was telling me to have days off here and, I just get my running gear on and go for a run, and it took too much out of me. No, at the end of the day, Young Mutley, he won the belt, and that's the end of the day. If I could have got the rematch, I would have had the fight, but it never come off. So that was the past. And then from there, I boxed Takaloo. It was for the WBU world title, which was a good title back then. I mean, now it's a little bit of a hit and miss thing. No one really looks at it the same. But I mean, when I was boxing for it, Ricky Hatton had defended it something like 9 times. It was that belt what actually, brought Ricky Hatton to light. So I boxed Takaloo anyway. I beat him on a unanimous, and then I defended it against Ross Minter, who I stopped Ross in the 9th round. Ross is a top kid, actually. I'm still friends with Ross now. We still speak on Facebook and that. And then after that, one sec, mate, I'll just kick the thing.
All right, mate. Yeah, because Ross was always known as being quite a tough lad, wasn't
he? Yeah, tough kid. He was a tough kid, to be fair. He's quite strong as well. I hurt him in the first round, and then I stepped on the gas a little bit too fast. You know what I mean? Brian, my trainer, was telling me to hold back, just take your time. And after about 3 or 4 rounds of trying to put it on him, I got back to my boxing, and that's when, in the 9th round, I think I hit him with a right hand, and then it was a left up what done him. I dropped him with a left up to the head. So it's all learning, do you know what I mean? We're all learning experience, and he's put me in good stead for where I am now, you know, being a trainer.
But you go back to the Takaloo fight, because I had Wayne Alexander on a couple of weeks ago, and he had the same fight as you.
Yeah,
he fought Takaloo, didn't he?
Yeah, they was having a bit of a war at one point. I think we were at Wayne, and then Wayne banged him clean out. I think it was a left up, if I remember right there.
Yeah, it was a hell of a punch.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne was a massive puncher anyway, weren't he? I watched a few of his amateur fights on videos and stuff, and he was banging kids out back then, do you know what I mean? So to be able to do that as an amateur, you've obviously got power, and, well, he obviously went and showed it, he could bang. Big punch. But again, Takaloo, he could punch as well, you know. I remember I actually boxed on the same night. It was in Manchester at the Velodrome. He boxed Anthony Farnell, and he knocked Anthony out with an uppercut. And Anthony was a very tough kid as well, do you know what I mean? So it just goes to show, you know, Takaloo could also punch as well.
Yeah, he seemed to, because I remember Wayne bringing back memories about it, and he said Takaloo really wound him up, really got under. There was like real beef between those two.
Yeah, and, I've seen a bit of that with them. They had a bit of animosity between themselves, didn't they?
Did you have that with anyone? Was there anyone that you had a proper rivalry with? Would you say?
No, there was no one that really got under my skin as such. I mean, I had a rivalry with all my opponents, as in there was, you know, there was no like I didn't want to be friends with anyone before any of my fights or anything like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like speaking to them or anything. It was just like complete business for me, sort of thing. I was just determined to win. Yeah, that's what I was like. It probably a little bit too much. I was probably too obsessive with it, I think. But it worked anyway for me. My only fear of anyone that I ever boxed, I was never scared of the actual fighters, you know, like Kell Brook or Cotto and stuff like that. I wasn't scared one bit of them. My only fear was getting beat, and that's what drove me on to win.
Yeah, and you touched on those two. You know, what fights to be in. I know you were talking that, you know, you came up short against them, but what fights to be in? Not many people can say they fought Cotto.
No, yeah, well, I mean, I was because of the way that Frank Warren used to promote and manage, sort of thing, and, you know, his matchmakers, he'd get you quite high rankings with the WBO. I think I was number 1 by the WBO. So at the time, there was like a pick of 4. There was me, there was Margarito, there was Cotto, and there was Carl Williams. And it could have been any one of them, of them 3 plus myself. And at first they were saying it's Margarito, and then Margarito got banned, obviously, because he had the plaster wraps. And then it was Carl Williams. They were saying Carl Williams. And to be fair, I mean, I would have boxed him, but out of the 3 what I got picked with, I was happiest with Cotto, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, from when Cotto actually beat me, he went on then. That was his best leg of his boxing career, I think. You know, he was class. He was a good fighter. And when you watch fighters, sometimes you watch him and you think, yeah, he's good, you know what I mean? He is good, but you think, what makes him so good? And you'll not understand that unless you've actually been in a ring with him, what makes him so good. Like with Cotto, it was his accuracy and his timing, you know, how he judged his distance. I remember the first round, I threw a jab, and he just made me, like, I throw my jab, he went slip, just with an inch, and then boom, come back with his own jab and caught me right in the nose. My eyes was watering, and I just thought from then on, this is going to be a tough night. You know, how he would make you miss and make you pay straight away. His class with that, the actual body shot that he caught me with, the left up to the body, honestly, mate, it crippled me. I'd never really been hurt as such, like with any headshots or anything. And to be fair, Cotto never hurt me with the headshots. It was the body shots what it did me. I couldn't actually breathe, so I took a knee, went down on my knees, and I was thinking, there's no way I'm not getting up. So I made myself get up, and as I'm moving, I'm thinking, he's not catching me with another one of them. And bam, straight away, more or less. He's so accurate, he could pinpoint, and that's the difference between these top level fighters. They've got that accuracy and that timing. Your Canelos, all them sort of people. The timing and the accuracy is class. It's unbelievable. They can just pick a point on you and boom, they catch you with it. You know what I mean? And I've noticed with your top level fighters, that's what they've got. Whether it's when I've sparred them, boxed them, or even now padded them. Do you know what I mean? It's that what makes a big difference, I think.
Yeah. There's body shots are very much, I would say, coming back. You know, Ricky Hatton was probably the last guy that had the real nasty body shots, didn't he? And used to see people real cripple and sort of bend over it to say, God, I can't take another one of them. But Canelo is the one now, isn't he?
Yeah, that, I mean, like I said, that's probably the most I've ever been involved in boxing. That's including injuries. I mean, it doesn't last for long. It only lasts a minute, but at the time, you cannot breathe. Do you know what I mean? So, but also you've got something in your head saying, get up, get up, get up. So you get yourself up and you move and you can't breathe. You're holding your breath. It's not a nice feeling anyway, but it's as bad as it. I am glad I actually experienced it because I know how the lads feel now. You know, when they get caught with a decent body shot, and I too, even with my own lads, you know, I tell them never to neglect that body because they are the ones. If you get caught with them body shots, they hurt. They make you sick.
So he was the one, would you say, that had the hardest punch?
I won't. Listen, he could punch. Yeah, he could punch. He was accurate, and his timing was good. He caught me with the best shot I've been caught with. Yeah. So to be fair, probably. Kell Brook was a good puncher as well. Kell was. He had the timing. You know what I mean. And the accuracy as well. He threw different shots from different angles. I thought I was getting into that fight, obviously, and I think it was the 5th round. He threw an uppercut, and it was an actual elbow. What caught me under my eye, but they called it as a punch, but it wasn't. It was an elbow. I felt it, and the doctor looked at it and stopped the fight. But again, it was. I've seen fights go on with a lot worse injury. Do you know what I mean? It was only just above my eyelid. They were saying afterwards they stopped it because of where the actual cut was. So again, I was gutted about that, but that's boxing for you, innit? Nothing you can do.
This is it. You were talking about Tyson Fury earlier, and we look back at his fight and look at the cut he had in recent fights. That was awful. And how that wasn't stopped, I don't know, because it was just pouring, wasn't it?
It was hanging, weren't it? It was hanging down, actually. Mine was just on my eyelid. But they were saying, like, because of where it was, they had to stitch, and if they don't stitch, your eyelid can drop. So that's what he said, anyway.
Yeah. It's happened. It's happened. Let it go, like.
You learn off all these sort of things. You learn. Yeah. It's like when I boxed Cotto before the fight. My trainer was wrapping my hands, and Cotto's trainer. After my trainer had actually finished one of my hands, my trainer went to Cotto's trainer and said, "Is that okay?" And he looked at it. He went, no, too much tape on there. So he had them two nearly ended up having a fight. And I ended up having to unwrap all my hands and start all over again. So these are the sort of things as being a trainer that you learn, because I've actually used that myself. You know, that one of my lads was fighting Nick Blackwell. It was Jack Armfield fighting Nick Blackwell for the British title. And I knew the guy what was wrapping Nick Blackwell's hands, and I knew how he wrapped them because he taught me how to wrap them. So I sent my brother into the dressing room, and I said to him, "Watch what he's doing with the wraps, and if it's not right, you know, make him take it off." I said, "But make sure you let him finish the wrap before." So he finished the wrap, and he had to take it off. But that's
absolute stirrer.
Yeah, it's boxing for you, isn't it? If it gives you an edge, do it.
Yeah, well, this is it. I think that was the whole controversy I know it's been with quite a few fights, isn't it, where people go, no, do it again. I think actually it was Klitschko and Fury, where there was a lot, the ring. Oh, look at, check this out. Oh,
yeah, it was talking about the ring and the gloves.
There was all sorts, wasn't there? And it was getting a bit whether you thought the fight was actually going to happen or not.
I remember because there was even talking about the underlay underneath the canvas because Tyson was saying it was too thick. But then like Eastern Europeans and stuff like that, that's what they box on. The underlay underneath the canvas is quite thick, so that's what they're used to. But it does take a little bit more out of you. It takes a little bit more out of your legs, to be fair. So, I mean, if he could have, like Tyson, he got it changed, and fair play to him.
Yeah, and like you say, he's the master, isn't he? It's all up here. It's all the mind games. Klitschko was used to getting what he wanted. Yeah. And no one sort of questioned it. And then you get Batman turn up at a press conference, and you get, like the mat being questioned. Has he got the right gloves? Has he got this? And Klitschko must have been thinking, who the hell was he? So the mind has automatically switched off to something else, isn't it? Where Tyson's just Tyson, isn't he? He just rides with it.
Yeah, but that's the good thing about it. Tyson is actually being himself, where some boxers are a little bit scared of being themselves because of the backlash that they might get of it. Do you know what I mean? But Tyson, he sticks up for what he believes. He does what he wants, sort of thing, and I respect him for that. Every credit to him for standing up for himself and wanting the changes, what are unfair and stuff like that. So yeah, fair play to him.
Before we chat about your gym and the training side, obviously you had a massive event happen to you during your career up in Manchester anyway, where, the motorbikes turned up and you got stabbed.
All right. Yeah. I was with Gomez, actually. I was with Michael Gomez that night. We'd been out. My missus was with us and his missus was with us. My brother was there. We'd been out. We was on our way back home. We went in some kebab shop, and there was these two kids in this kebab shop with a motorbike helmets on. And I don't know if they had beef with Gomez beforehand. I'm not too sure. But a couple of words got exchanged, and that was it. We never thought anything else of it. So we was walking off down the road towards Chinatown in Manchester. And there was like these alleyways, and we saw down this alleyway, and these two kids was there on the motorbikes. So we thought, we better get going. We just carried on walking. There was only two of them. There was three men. There was me, Gomez, and my brother. So we weren't like worried or anything. We just said, "Oh, let's get moving." Anyway, we kept moving. Next thing, these lads on the bikes came running up. One of them just stabbed me straight in my back straight away. The other one slashed Gomez. Like as we've turned to get it on with them, sort of thing, they've ran off. Or in fact, one of them hit my brother over the head with one of them extendable koshes as well. So we've actually run off chasing them, and they've jumped on the bikes and fired off. But we didn't realise. I looked down and I was full of blood. I just thought I'd been punched in my back. Gomez's arm, his tricep was like hanging down. It was a mess. So the ambulance ended up coming. And because I'd been stabbed in my back at the top, they thought that I might have punctured a lung. So they got me in first. But when they actually looked at Gomez's injuries, he needed surgery straight away. So what they did with Gomez, they put him on the table, give him local anaesthetic or the one that knocks you to sleep. And he went allergic to it and he flatlined. He died for a few seconds. You had to bring him back to life. And then when he actually did come round, he's swollen up like an elephant. It was massive. But yeah, and I mean, again, Gomez, he should have seen the state of his arm. It was a mess. Mine was just stabbed straight in and straight out. But with him, it was like a slash. So it was a mess. But he still overcome that and went on and still did good things. He was a tough kid. He was a good kid, Gomez.
Didn't one of you have a skin graft?
Gomez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. Like I said, mine, it was just them Stanley knives, what snap. Do you know them Stanley? Do you know what I mean? The knives, they come out and snap. So they snapped it, sort of thing. But so when they pulled it out, it was nothing. But it was just had a few stitches in it, and it was fine after that. But like I said, Gomez, he had to have loads of surgery and skin grafts and stuff like that. He did actually flatline as well. He was in hospital. Yeah, I was more worried about.
Everything for a kebab. Everything for a kebab.
I know. I was more worried about what I was going to tell Brian, our trainer. That's what I was more worried about. What was I even doing out in Manchester? But I don't know what happened to them.
How you came back afterwards, well, the both of you, how you came back to have the careers you had afterwards is incredible, because that just shows, you know, the guts and determination and the drive you've both got to come back from something like that, because that's mental.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to me, mine weren't that bad, to be fair. It was just a few stitches, but never for 1 second. I knew I was gonna. I never even thought, oh God, that's the end of my boxing. It never even come into thinking. I was sore for a few weeks, and then I was back in the gym.
Well, hats off to you, mate. Honestly, I think that's incredible.
Yeah, nice.
That's a story. That's a story to tell the grandkids, isn't it?
Yeah, well, when I'll tell them when they're a bit older, because I don't want them getting involved with that sort of crap.
Yeah, wait a bit, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously you're a trainer yourself now. Have you got any lads that we've got to keep an eye out for that are coming up?
Yeah, obviously we did we started off as an amateur gym, and then I bumped into Matty Askin one day at a Reebok stadium up near where I live, and he was English champion at the time, but he packed up. So I asked him why he's not training. I said, I've just opened my gym. I knew Matty anyway, because Matty used to come to Collyhurst with me. So I said to him, come down, and Matty came to my gym. He was our first British champion, actually, as a professional. We obviously had Matty Askin, Jack Anfield, who beat John Ryder. That was for the WBA International. He was a massive underdog for that. He got beat actually to Tommy Langford for the British. And then we've got a young kid there called Mark Jeffers. He's only 22. He's 10-0. He's a current Central Area champion. He's a good kid. He'll do well, Mark Jeffers. We had Scott Fitzgerald when he won the British title. Well, we had Scott Fitzgerald for 90% of his fights, but obviously he's gone training with his dad now. He's got a few problems, so he's training with his dad. Mark Efron, we trained Mark Efron as well. We got Denzel. The first fight, I thought Mark had done enough to nick it, if I'm being honest with you, but the second fight, fair play to Denzel Bentley, he caught Mark with a backhand over his jab and his eye. It was like a tennis ball. Did you watch that?
Yeah. I did. I actually did watch that, and that was an awful injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a mess. When the doctor was coming looking at it, I told the doctor straight away, I said, stop it, he's not going out. I don't want him to go out for another round, because he honestly, he could not see. His eye was like, it was a mess. So yeah, that was that. You've got a few amateur kids coming through as well. My son actually, he's both my sons, but my eldest lad, who's 15, he won the schoolboys. He's only had 10 fights actually, but he's won 9 of them. So he's doing. Okay. And then my youngest lad, he's just had the skills bouts, but with all this corona and everything, he should have had a few. They both should have had more fights by now, but obviously, you know, with what's gone on, we've not been able to. Everyone's been inactive, but we've got a few good kids in the gym, a few good amateurs, obviously some good pros. So just keep plodding on.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Hopefully they'll get the opportunities, and you know, I mean, Jack Cullen. Yeah, we've got Jack Cullen as well. And again, Jack Cullen. He went when he boxed Doherty. John Doherty was a massive underdog there, and you know, he went and done the business and won. We seem to be that at the minute, because we're up and coming as a gym sort of thing. We seem to be the gym that when we do get called upon these big shows at the minute, they're normally 60-40 in their favour, you know. So we do go into them as the underdog, but 9 times out of 10, you know, we come out winning.
I was going to say, you've put some proper names out there, mate. There's some cracking names on there, and you know what a future you've got with your gym, and a really good, you know, like you were saying earlier, when you were coming through, having that good stable environment around you, good fighters around you that can feed off, get a good vibe going. It sounds like you've got that exactly where you are. Yeah,
we're good, especially with the sparring. Even though I don't like the lads sparring each other, obviously there's times when we've got to. But as far as the sparring is concerned, we've got Mark Jeffers, super middleweight, Mark Efron, middleweight, Jack Cullen, super middleweight, Jack Anfield, he's still training actually, Jack, super middleweight. So there's all, we've got Aki, we've got a kid called Aki, Southpaw, he's there's just loads of good sparring there for him. Do you know what I mean? We do get quite a lot of lads coming in for sparring as well. We had Jay Metcalf. He was in for his full camp there when he boxed Ted Cheeseman the other day.
Yeah, what a fight! What a fight!
A good fight, wasn't it? Was a good fight.
That's going to take a beating for Fight of the Year, in my opinion. I thought that was quality.
Yeah, do you know what? Ted boxed really well that night as well. You know, he did what he had to do because he was hurting himself as well. So, and Jay obviously got dropped, got back up. So, every credit to both lads. They're both hard lads. You know, they're both warriors. Them two, they'll have a fight with anyone. It was a good fight. It was a good fight.
I'm looking forward to Ted Cheeseman, to be honest, because they're talking about Anthony Fowler next, which I think would be a great fight as well.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter the other day. That would be a belter. That would be a proper good fight. You know, it'd be one for the public to watch anyway. I mean, just your general public, I think if they tuned in to watch that, it's going to be a war.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I'd pay to see Cheeseman Metcalf again. I thought it was quality. And that could have gone either way. And but that night, I think Cheeseman, that's probably the best he's looked, in my opinion, as a package.
Yeah, definitely, because before he boxed Scott Fitzgerald, Ted, he was just a go-forward fighter, getting caught with shots and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? And then he boxed Scott Fitzgerald, he boxed completely on his back foot for the full 12. And then, obviously, when he boxed Cheeseman the other day, when he boxed Metcalf, he mixed it together really well. He had his boxing at long range, he boxed at mid-range, he boxed at short range, so he mixed it all up. And, yeah, I thought the best I've seen him, to be fair. He boxed really well.
So what fights for the rest of the year that we've got kind of up to towards the end of May now, haven't we? We've got the cards coming out now. What ones are you looking forward to, Mike?
Obviously, I want to see the two heavyweights. I want to see Fury. I definitely want to see. There's, like you said there, we've got loads of good fights coming up, not just in this country, all over. I'll watch boxing every time. Whenever boxing's on, I watch it. So I look forward to them all. There's nothing that really sticks out that, definitely, I just watch it all anyway in general.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think at the moment, you know, you had Chocolatito Estrada not so long ago, and that was an absolute cracker. And as you say, you've got Bentley Cash coming up. That looks really good as well.
Good fight, yeah, that's going to be a good fight. Interesting fight, that one, I think, as well. That Bentley, to be fair, you know, when we was watching him before he boxed Mark Efron, he's one of them fighters you think, we'll beat this kid. Like, we never took him lightly, don't get me wrong, but we thought, yeah, Mark will beat this kid. But he's one of them that when you're actually in there with him, there is something, you know, pretty good what he does. You know, he does things pretty well, to be fair. So, and obviously Felix Cash is a good boxer. He can obviously punch a bit as well, quite sharp. That'll be a good fight. That'll be a top fight.
Just while I've got you on, obviously Taylor Jonas coming up, which is going to be a hell of a fight. How can you see that one going?
I mean, if I was to choose any, it'd be Taylor, definitely. I just think. Did you? Sorry, got me. Josh, did you say Josh Taylor then?
No. Katie Taylor and Natasha Jonas. Sorry, mate, because obviously Josh is coming up as well.
Yeah.
That'll be a good fight as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, Natasha Jonas in the last fight, was it against, was it Terry Harper?
Yeah. Brilliant fight that was.
That was a class fight, weren't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So going off her last fight as well, you know, she's on a good run at the minute, but I just think Katie Taylor's overall performances, I think she stabbed that a little bit too much, but she does get caught, and you know, Jonas can punch a little bit as well. So yeah, that would be a cracking fight actually.
Yeah, Ender's coming again, and he's put Katie the Queen.
Yeah, she is good. She is good, to be fair. She fights
yeah. Oh, yeah, she's just solid. I think as you say, her all-round game, her movement, she's just solid, isn't she? And
yeah, she can box at most ranges, can't she? She can box long, short, you know, medium. She is a good fight. She's good on the inside. Sometimes takes too many shots. Well, a few shots too many. But obviously, you know, she's prevailed through her fights anyway, so fair play to her.
Well, let's hope we, you know, see some more great fights. As you say, this kind of lockdown period really has kind of put the 50-50s together and brought some fights we never thought we'd see, and it's been great for boxing, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing with Eddie Hearn, a good thing what he's been doing, you know, he's been giving these kids a chance where from different managers and stuff, different who might have boxed on the small old shows, he's given them chances. And that's good to see as well, because you know that them kids what have been boxing on the small old shows, what go on a matchroom show or whatever, they want to perform. You know, they want this is the lifetime opportunity for them, so they want to go in there and give it the best, and hopefully, you know, get a contract or a few fight deal off a matchroom. So fair play to him for doing that as well. It's massive, that.
Yeah, especially, you know, when we had the garden thing as well. You know, old Matchroom Square Garden, as he called it. And apparently he's doing it again this summer.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I've heard he's doing it again. That was good. They were decent. I watched every one of them. Didn't miss any of them. They're all good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Entertaining. Good
fights. There were some really good fights on there. And, let's just wait and see. You know, hopefully you can get the young lads back out there and the amateur, you know, grassroots can, you know, kick off again, because that's been the real blow, isn't it? And hopefully we can start seeing that again a bit more. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what we need. Obviously, without these kids, without the amateurs and the ones that were looking to turn over, there'd be no boxing at all, because there'd be no professional boxing without the amateurs, would there? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So we do need it. Hopefully September, October, maybe beginning of the new season for the amateurs. Whether it will be then, and I'm not too sure, but we're allowed to go back in the gyms from the 12th of April anyway, so we get the kids doing what they do, you know, what they love doing.
Yeah, well, hopefully Uncle Boris will let us, and we can get back out there and do what you enjoy, and they get their opportunity as well. But thanks for coming on, Mike. I really appreciate your time, mate.
Yeah,
and I wish all your lads the very best, especially your son. Hopefully keep plugging away, and we'll see another Jennings one day.
Yeah, two. We've got two sons.
Two. I'm leaving one out.
Hopefully, as long as the main thing is they're enjoying it. That's all I care about. As long as they enjoy it. When they stop enjoying it, then it's not fun. Then we don't chuck kids in to get hurt. Do you know what I mean? No. And that's when you're not enjoying it.
No, but honestly, thanks for coming on, mate. And hopefully we'll get some of your lads on here at some point.
Definitely, mate. Yeah.
And just thanks for your time, mate. And I'll speak to you soon.
Nice one. Cheers, Joe. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, take care, mate. Thanks for coming on.
See you in a bit.
Mike Jennings, great career, and just give him a follow on Twitter. Top guy. He's, as I say, had a great career himself. Now he's turned to training, and he's got a great stable there by the sounds of it. He's got a lot of youngsters coming through. Got a lot of people going on. Ender, me mate, as always, chipping in. Fair play to your boys and all lads at the club. Yeah, I think he's got a great stable going there, and sounds like a real bright future going on. So who knows? We might have an interview in the future with two new Jennings coming through that are hitting the pro circuit. So thanks for tuning in as always. This has been JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. If you like what we do, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and check out the rest of the content. There's loads of interviews. We've got our quick predict show, and we've got the live watch along, which is happening tomorrow for the Frampton versus Herring event at Dubai. So we'll be tuning in for that. Come and join us. It's going to be a great night of boxing tomorrow night. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks.